trying to take over the world.
Woo! Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Here we go!
So close to the real thing, it's like being in the ring.
Remember, kid, there's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die.
Get a pizza! Excellent! Cowabunga!
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby! Yeah.
All right, and welcome. It is Monday, and we are back for another show, episode 11 or 12 of the Anthony Eddy Show. I'm not sure which one it is. We've done over 2 months of videos at this point, and we're pushing towards episode month number 3. So we're really excited about that. I'm going to bring my co-host in.
Good evening. Month number 3. Almost. That's
It's
impressive.
crazy. I mean,
It's-
it's been like really interesting to see how far we've gone. And I think we've said this every week that we just weren't sure if this was going to get past a couple weeks. And here we are. We have more topics to talk about every week, which makes it a lot of fun. And this is an episode that we definitely wanted to talk about for a while. And even going into this week, we had questions of whether or not we should do this episode because the chat has been so good, and we weren't sure if video games was this like close niche,
Mhm.
and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to make this episode happen. But I think we're here, and I think it's good. I think it's going to be a good one. And we have a third guest with us today.
We do.
So why don't we bring him in?
Let's.
EV3. EV3 has been chomping at the bit to be part of the show for quite a while. We got him in. He's usually generally number one in the chat, so someone else is going to be number one today. So that's exciting. So welcome to the show, EV3.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so let's start, and Damien already started in the chat. Think Eddie bought that shirt when he was 15 and fitting it. Sure.
There you go. It's my Super Nintendo.
Okay, so you're wearing a Super Nintendo shirt. Very cool. EV3, what are you wearing?
Street Fighter shirt.
Stand up. We can't see it. Who you got on there?
Street
Okay,
Fighter.
Ryu, Sagat, Chun-Li, Dalsim. Very cool. And I'm wearing a shirt that I got in Texas with Sean. I don't know if he's in there or not, but this was from the National Video Game Museum in Dallas, Texas. So we went out, or Frisco, Texas, which is just a suburb of, Dallas. And we went out there for a baseball game, ran into the museum, and was like, hey, we have to go in there. And I'm also wearing a penny arcade machine hat from a company called the Clink Room. My brother and I have bought a bunch of hats from this company. They take forever to get here. But when they get here, they're very much well worth it. So, hello, Anthony. Hello, Stitch 15876.
Do you know who Stitch 15876 is?
Pretty sure that's my sister-in-law, Karen.
Okay.
I think. I'm not sure. I didn't make fun of her today, so I'm not sure if that's her or not, but I'm sure she will. And Sean also has the same shirt. So Sean is part of this, even though he didn't know he was going to be. But all right, so let's get going. What'd you think of this week's thumbnail?
What'd you think of it?
I like it. It's nice.
Yeah, I like.
First time as an AI on the cover, so.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, I had fun doing this. I mean, it's funny how you put different things together, and I said, can you make me sitting down crisscross applesauce with headphones on? And this is what we got. So, a lot of fun. And Actually, Stitch is my niece, not my sister-in-law. So
I'm just sending some last.
game over, game over, game over. All right. So thinking about arcades. Now, what was your? I know Eddie EV3. You've really never made it to like a traditional arcade the way they used to be, because you're more of a generation of what we'll look at soon. But Eddie, what was your kind of remembrance of what arcades used to be and things like that?
My first, I think my first arcade was at I think Safari Golf. I know they had
Okay.
that. They had the arcade right over. I guess. No, I know. We're gonna get to that, Abby. I mean, Abby. I mean, it's not cereal or candy. She's ready. She's in the
Wow.
studio audience over here. Yeah, no, the arcade at Safari Golf. I'm trying to remember. Obviously, I have no pictures. I don't think there's any pictures, but I just remember
Right.
going in there, and I always remember being wherever you went on vacation. I felt like always had that, always had that little arcade wherever you
Yeah.
went. And I remember leaving the dinner table and my dad just giving me like $5 that you put in, which I don't think kids you've never seen where you actually put the money in. Well, no, it would just be a money breaker. You'd put $1 in and you'd get quarters or
Yeah.
tokens would come out, and that's what you would play with. And it's so I remember all those arcades, and then you had the which really is goes with your shirt, being at the bowling alley and having those 2 or 3 arcades like right there in the alley,
Yeah.
and I mean, that's where I remember playing Mortal Kombat for the very
Yeah.
first time. You know,
Yeah, so mine is very similar to yours. I feel like my first introduction to like a real arcade was going to
Mhm.
uh, the bowling alley that my family used to go to in Brooklyn, and they had a pretty solid, nice like arcade with probably like 6 or 7 games that my brother and I used to play, all different types of games at. I feel like I remember specifically like Rampage being one of them, and
Yes.
things like that. And then I also remember going away. We used to go for Labor Day. Um, no, it was Gil Hodges Lanes, Damien. It was Gil Hodges on Ralph Avenue in the Marine Park area. I would guess it's my mother isn't here in the chat. She would probably know better, but I'm pretty sure it was Marine Park. And then we used to go to on Labor Day. We used to go out to um, the Lancaster, and we used
Mm.
to stay at the Continental Inn, and they had an arcade room that my brother and like actually all of us would spend a lot of time in playing WrestleFest and a whole bunch of other games. And then they always had a ping pong table that we used to spend a ton of time in. But so I did some research on arcades, and do you know when they first like picked up and started?
First actual arcade.
Well, maybe not the first, but like when they first started gaining
Ah,
a ton of, you know, popularity.
if I had to guess, I'm gonna say I'll go 70s, 1977. What would you say?
I'm gonna say like 75.
All right, so it was earlier than that. It was in the during the Industrial Revolution. So people had a little bit more cash. Things started popping up. So things like vaudeville shows, going to the parks, park and beaches, and then they had these things called penny machines, which turned into
Mm,
like the first arcade. And at first, these
Little
penny
Wing.
machines were very like it was like you look through these goggles at like a still picture, and as you put your money in, the things would animate, so it was like watching like a little show. And those were like the first like arcade type of things, and then from that they kind of morphed into things like the test your strength. Like, did you ever do one of those test your strength things? Those guess your weight machines.
Oh
They
yeah,
had
yeah,
the like the shock machines, which you would hold and see how long you
yeah.
could hang on there. Which is funny because I started watching the new Fear Factor show, and that was like one of the obstacles were like or challenges was one of the guys had to hold on to this shock machine as they raised the shocks. And my brother actually said it in the chat. These kind of shows where you put your money in, they were called Nickelodeons, which is kind of funny because we know Nickelodeon as the show, as the channel. And then they started getting a bit more popular come like the 30s and through the 50s, where they had more like horse racing games, where you could kind of like place your bet on who you think was going to win. And then pinball machines became really popular, but they didn't have flippers on them. So I'm really not sure, if you just pushed a button or something like that. But these were pinball machines were kind of becoming popular at the same time that slot machines were becoming popular. So people looked at those as like gambling machines. And so they were banned in New York City from early 1940s through the 1970s. They were just banned. And then, throughout time, you hit the 70s now, and games like Asteroids and Space Invaders became popular.
Yeah.
They hit their peak in the mid 80s, where people, really got into going to the arcades as a social, environment, a place to hang out. This happened through the 80s. And then the home console started coming about, right? And people had Atari at home and, Sega Master System and things like that. And less people went to the arcade. So it was, we often talk about how much people like turned to technology and stopped going outside, and how technology kind of ruined it more recently, but it was actually happening in the 80s, and I don't think we talked about it, right? So then arcades became a bigger thing again with different games, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So that was my little bit of history lesson.
Someone did the research.
I did some history and learning within the last week to try to make sure I knew what I was talking about, and a little history. But I think most importantly, the idea of it being social was really cool. So here's some pictures of what it might have looked like.
Was that you?
No, that's Catherine Helmond is somewhere in this picture. I didn't. I'm a little upset. I've been really good at trying to remember to put her in here, and she's not in.
15 minutes
And I'm
in.
a little disappointed. But Catherine Helmond is the girl in the back, right. I see it. So we'll just assume that's her, right? So a couple people have said this in the chat already. So this was the South Beach Arcade or the Sand Lane Arcade. Anthony Romanello said he grew up at the South Beach Arcade, so I'm going to assume that was the name of this. It was on Sand Lane. My brother said R.I.P. to the South Beach Arcade. I don't remember ever going to this.
Either do I. I have no memory of going. I'm sure I did, but
I don't think I did. I'm not familiar that I went. Maria had her 5th birthday there, so Maria went, and she got to hang out there. Yeah, I'm not convinced I actually went there. I don't know if I ever did. And then today on Staten Island we have, and all over the place we have Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster's is a lot of fun. The games are totally different. They're not coin machines anymore, right?
Yeah.
So many of them are more,
Unlimited.
but you have to use the card, and a lot of them are virtual reality and things like that.
Really, there aren't many traditional
Yeah.
arcade games at Dave and Buster's, right?
No.
Like
not
video,
really.
like an actual
I know
video. There's some.
there's like versions of old games. Like I know they have Rampage, but not like a traditional.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, definitely not traditional. It's still fun though. It's a good time, and I haven't been, in a while. But it's always fun. Maria likes to play the Connect 4 shot game while she's there. That's always fun when you get to shoot the basketballs into the Connect 4 thing. And my brother has fond memories riding his bike to the end of Highland Boulevard. The ground was covered in sand. I must have gone, because I feel like I remember that. And then the top picture is Fun Station here in Staten Island. Have you ever been there?
I worked there for a couple weekends. Fun fact.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
Pretty
I did.
cool.
I did. I was in charge of the ball pit. I don't know if you could see it, but it wasn't my cup of tea.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean it's still there. I mean, Fun Station was the place to go for the batting cage. Indoor
Yeah, I mean
batting
that's what I remember going there
You
for, and
went.
I actually played in a basketball league there too, with a
Yes.
couple buddies of mine. We played basketball there. Yeah,
There was
so a lot of fun.
the one game, and now this takes you back. I don't know. I feel like I want to say probably in high school, so probably early 2000s. What was the like the Dance Revolution?
Yeah,
I felt like you would go in there, and there would be like the kids that would play in the arcades, and then you had the Dance Revolution people that would just go nuts. It was
Yeah.
had the arrows
Yeah, it's
up, down, left, and right, and they just went crazy.
yeah, and
It was not me.
games like
It was not me.
Dance Revolution and like Guitar Hero kind of saved the arcades at that point, right? Because it was so
Yeah.
easy to have things on your handheld, right? But
Yeah.
being able to play like Dance Revolution on this huge machine made it a lot of fun.
Hello.
Now this is something that if you grew up in Brooklyn, you would know. This was a 2-floor or 3-floor arcade that my mother used to take my brother and I to all the time. It was called Funtime USA. So you would walk into the first floor, and I remember, I can remember the setup pretty vividly, right? Pretty much to a T. When you walked into the right, there was a pretty big bumper cars area, and the bumper cars were football players. Half of them were blue, half of them were green for the Jets and Giants, which was really cool.
Mm.
Damien said fun time, so I'm guessing he's been. There was a slide, like a jumbo slide that went from the second floor all the way down to the first floor. Um, there was your traditional games, but then there was also those games that you would win tickets for, and those became like almost more popular than the actual arcade games because everyone wanted like the prize. And my brother and I, we got a couple of the prizes, and then we said, okay, we need like 10,000 tickets to win like a Nintendo 64. Let's save for that. And it never happened. I think it was like impossible. I think maybe they had one in the whole place that they never planned on giving up. But we went to Funtime USA all the time. I actually just recently on eBay bought my brother and I two of the coins that you would get at Funtime USA to play to go on like the bumper cars and stuff like that. So it's like two gold coins. And I gave my brother one. I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but it was something that I wanted to have, so we bought them. They were like $5 for two of them. So which may or may not have been of what they would have cost back then. I have no idea. All right, so now some random stuff. You sent me these pictures. I have no clue what any of this is, so I'm gonna give it up to you and have at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, these do tie into tie into a bunch of my my top 10 in my top 10, but these are some wait, ball pit is more like a germ pit. Yeah. So the one on the left, I don't know if you've noticed, that's Altered Beast. But have you seen in Target they have a lot of these? It's almost like I don't know. I mean, I never collected Polly Pockets as a kid, but it's kind of, they have Altered Beast, they have all three Sonics, they have a bunch of them, which I want to do an unboxing of one of them. But so that's from Altered Beast. The middle.
So I mean, the boy alternative to Polly Pocket was Mighty Max, and you never had those either.
Never had.
Okay,
never had
my
Mighty
brother and I had a bunch of Mighty Max. They were a lot of fun to play with. Right, it was just these miniatures, and they were fun.
The middle is well, we'll talk more when I get to my my ranking, but that's one of my personal most prized it's my gaming accomplishment that means the most to me. In the middle, took a photograph of it, which I will talk about later.
Okay.
And the right side looks like a relic. It is a game. It is a piece of paper that has. I felt like you always wrote down cheat codes.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like
Yeah.
growing up, it was, so I go through all my, behind me, we have all my retro games, and it's like opening up these old boxes, and you see not only the advertisements from like the 80s, early 90s. This was a handwritten cheat sheet from one of my games that was on there, but like you read it, when I look at it now, and it takes you right back to the mid 80s. And I was like, I'll talk more about that too when I get to my top 10. But these are some of my most, there's a story behind each one we'll get to.
Oh, Maria doesn't like Chuck E. Cheese. Well, at least used to not like Chuck E. Cheese. Went down the slide and slid into a poop diaper. That's pretty gross.
Well, if we're talking, I think Eddie was at a 1980s arcade this morning.
Oh,
If you believe it or not. Where were you this morning?
I was at Showplace going for a class trip.
Okay.
I don't know if have you gone into the arcade at
No.
Showplace?
I didn't even know that the place was open since one. I didn't know it was still open, and two, I didn't know it was open since the 80s.
Well,
Yeah, you could tell. The lanes were falling apart.
Yeah, maybe I'm not exaggerating. Maybe I'm exaggerating the 80s, but you're the third person this weekend that has said, is Showplace even still open?
I mean, if you drive past it, it looks like an absolute ghost town of
the DMV is gone. It used to be a movie theater right over there too, right?
And this is the reason why we pay as much as we do to bowl, because the other place is dump.
Yeah, so where you went today was like the hot place to go. Like there was the movie theater, you went bowling, there was I don't even know if there's still Wendy's over there, but now
it's closed.
Yeah, that's closed too.
Charles Entertainment Cheese is his full name. And he actually has a video game coming out. Not a video game, an action figure coming out pretty soon. So kind of stoked about that.
I believe they also made an arcade for Chuck E. Cheese. I could be wrong.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yes, and they've actually made they've revamped, they have an adult it's at Chuck's or whatever. Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese has an adult. They've turned adult arcades. That sounds bad. It's not an adult themed arcade. It's an arcade themed, I guess, for like our generation.
Like retro.
Yeah, it's like it's current games. It's kind of like a Dave and Buster's.
Right.
But for
our generation.
All right, pretty cool.
And Chuck E. Cheese, I believe, has removed all the animatronics. Right?
Wow.
You aware of that? They do not have the animatronics anymore.
Right. I'm going to say this again. I also don't think I've ever been to a Chuck E. Cheese. And then best fight videos on YouTube are from Chuck E. Cheese. Maybe we could do a whole show on that. All right. So I put this in random because I really didn't know where to put it. Wreck-It Ralph is one of my favorite Disney movies, especially the first one. I loved when he went into the room and spoke to all the bad guys, and you had like Zangief and the ghost from Pac-Man and all that. I just really liked it, and to me, this was always such a good movie, fun video game. And then when he went to the bar, right, and he was sitting at the bar drinking, I didn't know that was an actual game.
Yeah, but you
I thought it was just made up.
Oh,
Tapper. And it's incredibly hard.
It's very hard. We've played it when we come the arcade that I don't know, is that
guy,
on these?
But you are not the bad guy.
I don't know if those are popping up in the slide, or should we talk about them? Well, I don't know if we should have talked about it. I sent some pictures of our the retro arcade that we
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Okay.
Stay tuned.
I have played Tapper, so that's
okay. Maria's never watched the movie from start to finish. It's very good. I mean, I think they're both very good. So we'll have to watch those. And I put this one in for Maria and her family because they've played it. I've never played it. And then I think, looking at your shorts videos. Not your your physical shorts that you wear, but your shorts on your channel. Which shorts are you wearing anyway, right? You did a whole short on Bubble Bobble.
On Bubble Bobble. Yeah. Classic soundtrack on the, I mean, it's the same sound on repeat for 100 levels. But it is.
Okay, Tea Shop Bubble Bobble, one of my top games. Okay,
You've never played
awesome.
Bubble Bobble?
Yeah.
I don't no,
Have
I
you
don't
played
think so.
Bubble
I
I
mean,
I play Bubble Bobble.
Yeah.
the only place I would have played would have been at Maria's family's house. They've I think they had it on the Wii, like they downloaded it on the Wii or something like this. Um, Tea Shops only got up to level 74.
Only. That's pretty
Only
impressive.
74. That's disappointing. Only 74, right? And then so that is the last bit of random stuff that I put in. And now video games to movies. I put a couple things together here. Detective Pikachu. Did you ever see it?
Did you ever see Detective
Never
Pikachu?
saw Detective Pikachu.
Okay, I mean,
We're not Pokemon. Yeah, we're not Pokemon.
yeah, I'm not a big Pokemon fan either. I thought this would be something that would get you EV3, but all right. What about Pixels? Did you see Pixels?
See, I've heard of it, but I never knew what game it came from.
Not necessarily. It was like a bunch of different games put together, and it was like the guys were running through kind of different worlds and kind of fighting different things, and it was all pixelated. Really, really good movie. Not the best, but pretty solid. I put these two first because I think the movies get better and better, and then then they get really bad, and then get better again. I really enjoy all three of these movies and Knuckles the show. These are fantastic.
Yeah. This is where video game movies started getting a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, and there's tons of video game movies, but I think the way, like with this animation, I like these best. Ed, did you watch these?
Oh yeah, we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen all three.
We went to the theater
three.
for all
Yeah.
for all of them, right?
I think I've seen 2 and 3 in the theater. I think I missed 1 in the theater. And what about Knuckles? Did you watch Knuckles?
I saw it on like when it was on like Nickelodeon. I never sat down and watched it, but I've seen clips.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey was fantastic in all these movies.
Awesome.
That's like,
and I'm gonna say this.
He got better in each one.
Was never good at Sonic the video game. Was absolutely horrendous at it. And because I was never good at it, I didn't like the video game. Like I just never played it, was never good at it, so I just never played. But the movies I thought were absolutely fantastic, and I really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Now EV3, I don't know. Have you seen this movie?
I've never seen it, but I know enough. I know enough about it.
It's a blast.
I
think as a young kid watching this movie, it's a guilty pleasure because you just love Mario. But like watching it as an adult, even a young adult and teenager, this movie was awful. They did have fun toys though.
If you see Bowser in this movie, he does not look good at all.
No, it's rough. It's rough. Maria actually loved this movie, but it was terrible. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
They had a TV show too. It was like the Mario, and it was
like the style.
It was like a yes.
It was all this. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was pretty.
But now,
then you have the newer one.
Mario Brothers movie was unbelievable,
phenomenal,
and I'm really looking forward to Galaxy.
Yeah,
go for it. This is your time.
Yeah. Talk about it.
I will say the first movie, the original. We did see this in theaters. Really, that is, and I'm not saying this because I like Mario. That was one of my favorite movies, just because I've played enough games to get all the references. Like they had a lot of Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Like in like the beginning when they're going down the sewer, you hear the underground theme playing. You hear a lot. You see a lot of 8-bit Mario's. Just a lot of references, and even just like casting, animation. There really wasn't a lot of bad stuff about this movie, and I just wait for Galaxy.
I was a bit worried when I started seeing trailers for it because I thought they were trying to do too much in one movie. Like when they went from Mario and then Mario Kart and Donkey Kong Country, I was like, man, this is a lot to put in one movie. But I was so pleasantly surprised. I thought they absolutely nailed it. Great movie. Cannot wait for Mario Galaxy to come out. So I wanted to make sure I put these guys in there.
Yes.
And once again, it's the casting. Like Jack Black. Jack Black is phenomenal. It's right. That's right? Jack Black.
He was Bowser, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Bowser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Bowser.
I think that song,
Peaches.
Peaches, actually was like a top. It was like
It was.
It was like a trending, like legit song
Yeah.
for a while. It was,
and it was only like a minute long. It was just a scene.
I think you're gonna disagree. I think you're gonna love Galaxy. I think
It's-
Galaxy you're gonna like. Galaxy is gonna be fun.
You could even tell there's gonna be so much in this movie. Like you see Yoshi, you see Toad with the penguin suit from Mario Wii,
Yeah.
Luigi with the frog suit from Mario Bros. 3.
Birdo from a lot of Mario 2.
Birdo,
references.
Mauser, and King Bort are all in there in the bottom left by Mario.
And I think this is just like a start, right? I think there's so many other, like, we haven't introduced, like Wario and Waluigi and all those guys. Like they're gonna make an appearance in a movie at some point,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like Waluigi are gonna be the third movie.
And then I wanted to put this in there. So what, last month or January, my brother and I went to Epic Universe, part of Universal, and we went into Mario Nintendo World. And I gotta say, like, it is incredibly overstimulating. You walk into this place and you're just like, oh my God, I don't know where to look. It is so interactive. It is just, every part of it was amazing, right? It was just unbelievable. I don't want to go too deep into secrets about it and talk to you about the ins and outs of it because I want you to experience on your own.
I really want
But just saying, like, anyone that goes down to Florida and has a chance to go to, Epic Universe, this is visually, you took an escalator and you went from being in the middle of a theme park to being in the middle of a video game. And that's about all I want to say about it, but it was just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Hands down, thing that everyone must do. What did Russ hike the league fees to now? Same price. And we won the championship, and we're not going to get a discount, right? No discounts on champion champ. Just get the same uncooked or overcooked pizza. All right. So now stores, museums, and restaurants themed around video games or video centric kind of places. So I know EV3, you have probably never heard of Funkoland. Right? EV3, Funkoland is kind of foreign to you.
Never heard it.
Yeah. Ed, you remember Funkoland?
I remember Funkoland. I honestly don't think I've ever gone inside of Funkoland.
Okay, well, Funkoland and like, I think transformed into GameStop at some point, right?
Yeah, GameStop is.
So these, two very big popular video game chains. I remember we used to go to this one in Brooklyn. It was Funkoland, and it was, oh man, I don't remember where it was. If my mother's still in the chat, she may know. But it was an IHOP on the left hand side of the street, and then on the right hand side there was a plaza that Funkoland was in, and that was the one that we used to regularly go to. But then the bread and butter of this is Toys R Us, and going to Toys R Us to buy video games, running down the aisle to get the tag, the piece of paper, and you got like the box, the front and back of the box was like in the slip, and that's how you decided what video game you wanted, was like the cover art.
This takes you, and it's funny because this image, and this is
my mother doesn't remember where the Funkoland was. Well, I mean, where was the IHOP in Brooklyn? It was by like South Shore High School or something like that.
This was an experience. Yeah, so you would go, and it was exactly like Traverso was saying, and you could see the price was up there in bold, and you flipped open, you were able to see the front and back of the box. And this was like, you got a game, and it was like, this was the game you were going to be playing for the next like months. And it's crazy looking back now at these games. I say to myself, the amount of money that my parents probably spent on games, and I probably didn't get past the second level on probably 90% of these games.
Yeah.
But you'd get the ticket, and I know the Toys R Us, we went to the one on Richmond Avenue right by Best Buy. You'd take the ticket, and you'd have to, I guess you would pay for it first, and then you would go, there was a separate room on the right-hand side.
There was a counter that you would go to.
You'd hand the ticket, and they'd go in the back, and then they would hand you your game. So like that's now like our generation. Like that's why for me, I'm all for physical media. Like this was an experience in itself. You drove to Toys R Us, you got the game, you drove home in your parents' car, staring at the back of the box.
Right.
And you just couldn't wait until you got home.
Staring at the impossible because you knew you weren't going to be able to beat it.
Yeah,
Right.
like you right now, if you could like go back and like relive every kid that probably bought like Ghost and Goblins, and like you could just tell them like you're never gonna even get past the second half of the first level of this game.
Yeah. And I think that might have to be another show, like Nintendo games that you had no shot of beating.
Just
right.
that
I mean,
never
like,
be-
which is most of them. I'm going to say most of them. I don't know if I ever physically beat a whole Nintendo game.
It's
Like I don't think it was possible. Some of them I don't think ended. Right. Like, and we'll talk. Maybe we'll talk about a couple, but I don't think some of them ended. And now this is a place in Brooklyn. They have them all over the place.
we
Have you
wanted to
been?
go here. This place, 8-bit bites.
8-bit bites,
Yeah.
and it looks like a retro kind of like burger joint. And then at each table, there's a video game console. I'm not sure if you get to choose which one you sit at, and then you get to play the games on the TV while you eat. So these have popped up a little bit all over the place. So I haven't been, but I'm definitely looking forward to going to something like this. I think it's in like Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. So maybe you have to be a stop at some point. And then Anthony Romanello and I, we were in Vegas. We went to see the Raiders play in Vegas, and right behind the Luxor Hotel was the Pinball Hall of Fame. And if you throw Hall of Fame out there, and I have a little bit of time, I have to go in, right? The Pinball Hall of Fame was actually free. You could walk in for free. You could walk around for free. And then you put money into the coin machine and you got coins and you were able to run around and play any of the pinball or arcade games that they had. This place was awesome. I think we went 2 or 3 times on this trip, and we just played every game. Yeah. Godzilla. I learned how difficult the Paperboy arcade game was. It was once again another like impossible arcade game.
On Ralph Avenue, she found it.
Yeah, Ralph Avenue was where that Funko Land was. My mother did her research. And then so this is just a couple machines. So the old school Batman machine, Ninja Turtles, and then the Punch Out video game they had there. This was really cool. And if you ever go to Vegas, this is a place you have to go. It was just super cool. A lot of fun. All right.
Here we go.
So Eddie, what do we got here?
So the Game Vault, it's
in Morristown, New Jersey.
Yeah, it's basically like a modern retro arcade. Like they have the I believe the original.
He's quite the character.
So like they have a lot of games like the retro Ninja Turtles, which we
beat.
We went there, and for 30 minutes straight, we just were locked in and beat the whole game.
Now, how many quarters did it take you, or was it not like that?
Well, how does it? So
for starting game, no, really, it's like infinite, not infinite, but you just put in amount of credits you want lives.
Well, here, let me cut off, and then we'll go in. This is no, you got it because you'll get there. So this is in Morristown, and this is a guy's a nice guy. He's from Staten Island. It's his personal collection. So every machine he owns, it's his personal. It is his personal collection. So he keeps every machine in pristine condition. And so this was a bank. Yep.
Ridgely and her roommates going to the Game Vault. Very cool.
It's in Morristown. There's a bunch of nice places to eat, nice pizzeria. There's a nice ice cream place. There's a lot of, it's really nice. And it used to be a bank. So, and the guy, what he did was he just gutted the bank, but he didn't change the layout of the place at all. Cool. So like to the point where when you go in where the actual vault was, where the money was, like the door is off, and he squeezed in like arcade games like everywhere. Like
That's awesome.
So we got the pinball,
Yeah,
right?
you have a whole wall of pinball. Like there's Iron Man, Spider-Man, Simpsons, Ninja Turtles, a lot of different franchises.
Sweet.
Like here we have Baby Pac-Man, which is my personal favorite.
Okay.
It's not in the name, but it's a mix. It's basically regular version of Pac-Man. And you know how you have the 2 warps on the sides?
Yeah.
For every 1 life, you can go into other warps and you start playing pinball. As you can see, it's connected. You play pinball until you die, get points, and then you go back to the
So
Pac-Man.
it's regular Pac-Man, the arcade Pac-Man, and when you go off the screen instead of Pac-Man going across and back out the other side,
right?
Yeah.
In addition to the warps.
Yeah. In addition to them,
and then on the bottom,
it's an actual old school Pac-Man. I've never seen it. Never knew this game existed outside of this place. But you have, and to answer your question, it's a bracelet. So you pay. It's like $7.
Kind of tap the bracelet.
$7 for a half hour.
Yeah.
I think it's like 15 for an hour, and then like once you pay for like 4 hours, that's it. Like it's an all-day pass. You could leave, you could come back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's all the original, like you said, the Paperboy, which I've never played with the actual like handle.
On very hard.
Which I've never.
And they have, in addition to all that, they have like Donkey Kong, all 3 Donkey Kongs, and they have like a folding table with like the N64, the game,
all the current, current
stuff.
games.
And they just have a bunch of in there.
So so it's a lot of.
It really is fun.
And we go. Like we try to go every summer, every break. And you can see right there we got Michael Jackson, and I didn't put in the picture. I didn't think Tapper. So it's Budweiser. So it's an actual the joystick, the original
is a tap.
Is a tap. It actually says Budweiser.
Yeah.
And then the whole game is just it's sliding. You're a person going back and forth across 3 bars. Yeah. And sliding
very hard.
There's a beer
very
across.
hard. A lot of fun.
Yeah. A lot of fun. I'm assuming that game would not fly today in the arcade, and it's sponsored by Budweiser. But
a couple years ago, Sean and I went out to Texas, and we went to the National Video Game Museum. So when you first walked in, there was like all these different statues. This was my favorite one. I had all the top video game, mascots or whatever you want to call it, characters. Right in the beginning, they had some cool artwork all over the place. Duck Hunt was one of those Nintendo games that I don't think ever had an ending. That would be something to Google, but I'm not sure it ever had one. But really, really cool. All right. So now the moment we've been waiting for. Let's get into our top 10. EV3, yours come in and kick in at number 5. Ed, I'm going to go first this time, and you'll be our closing us out. And my number 10 is Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts, the first game, came out in 2002, second game 2005, third 2019. So there was a 14-year gap from games. I beat Kingdom Hearts 1. It was incredibly hard. I cannot beat Kingdom Hearts 2. And I haven't started Kingdom Hearts 3. I've had it in the wrapper since 2019 because I got it day 1 and haven't beaten it. But I love the combination of Disney characters, Final Fantasy characters, and made-up characters. And each board, each level brings you to a different Disney World, which is really cool. Disney World from the movies, which is so much fun. You play as all different characters. You're this one boy, Sora. And then you partner with, Goofy and Donald for the most part of the game. Super fun. Ed, did you ever play this?
I've tried it. I've tried it out. Didn't play it much, but I know this game has a big following. A lot of people love this.
Super difficult, but a lot of fun. As a Disney fan, this is a lot of fun.
Which right there you'll see on my list. Once you say super difficult, that kind of eliminates that genre of games.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're number 10.
As you'll see here, probably the complete opposite of a game like Kingdom Hearts. This is RC, RC Pro-Am. This is for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I know. That's it. I'm in my mid 40s almost. This was for Nintendo. Came out in 1988, and this is first you played RC Pro-Am?
No,
You've never played RC Pro.
no.
This is like the this is the this was one of the first race car games. I think there was definitely the first race car game for me. And you literally just went, it looked like growing up when you would have those those slot car racers and you would just
Yep.
go around the track. That's all this game was. You had oil spills, you had there were four cars, and you just had to not place last. And
Okay.
as long as you didn't place last, you just kept on going and going. And it was just like, this was one of those games that was, when we went through the top 10, it was like, what games from my childhood popped up first? And this was one of them. So I had to put a race car game, RC Pro Am. And there you go.
Damien's still talking about video game tickets. I'm not sure if it's maybe delayed on his end, but we're past that. We're past that, Damien.
No ticket under the game you wanted. Yeah. Well,
all right. So number 9. My number 9 is any version of Call of Duty that have come out. Most recently, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. The reason why this is on my list is because my brother and I went to a summer camp as kids, and I went from 1996 through almost like 2008 until I worked for the summer at the Y, and then started working for Parks. Um, my current job. But we play this game all the time. I haven't gotten the new one, so I haven't really played with the guys much. But these are I get on and I play with people that I've known for 30 years. I don't know if some of them are watching. So they said they would jump in, but I don't believe them. It's a chance that we get to just put the headsets on and we kind of just talk and joke around. And I'm terrible at these games, but it's not about the game. It's more about hanging out with the guys that I've known for 30 plus years and just joking with each other. It's just a lot of fun. And this was the game that I've actually did the best in. I prestiged a couple times, which was really cool, which is something that I never really did. But this is my number 9. And here is your number 9.
So my number 9, Dynasty. Yes. So the first game on the right-hand side, Dynasty Warriors 2 for PlayStation 2. And then I've loved the series since then, because this is probably requires the least amount of thought you need. It's that whole what's going on now, like the 1 versus 1,000, could 1,000 men beat one? This was, you're a samurai, and you're literally pressing one button.
Right, just a hack and slash,
it's
run
a
through
hack and slash game. Yeah. And this was, Dynasty Warriors 2. This came out, this was 2000. So what's crazy is I'm looking here going, oh, it's a modern game. It's a modern game that's 25, started playing 25 years ago on the right-hand side.
Yeah, this was a ton of fun. I mean,
oh, you've played Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah, I've played a bunch of them. These are always great.
There's a new one coming out. They're remaking Dynasty Warriors 3.
Nice. All right, so number 8. This is one that you may not know of. Siphon Filter.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of it. Never played it.
Okay.
Played it.
Okay. Yeah. This game, these were awesome. So you follow. This came out in '99. There was a couple games. I think there was 3. It was Siphon Filter 1. Siphon Filter 2 actually came in a really thick CD case because it had 2 discs. It was 2 discs. So you beat the first disc and then popped in the second. And I think that was the only video game I had that needed 2 discs to play through the whole game. But basically, there was this guy called Gabe Logan. He was like this special force kind of guy. And you would play the whole game in almost this, like, with the goggles on, and everything kind of was like this filter, and you just saw the green, and you would trace like people's heat running through the game. My brother and I played this game all the time. This was fantastic. They even had like multiplayer in this game, in the second one, which was a lot of fun. But this was just probably my favorite PlayStation game that I ever played. And yours?
This is what, my number 8. Number 8. This is I have. That's a real photo. These games are all in my collection behind me. Zillion. So this is from 1987. So we're going real back. Now, I was growing up, you were either a Nintendo kid or you were a Sega Master System kid.
I'm guessing you're a Sega kid.
Well, there's my Sega Master System right here. I didn't know if we were just doing games or systems, for another time. But my first system was the Sega Master System, and this game was pretty fun. This game, you're in this giant maze, and you're just a guy. Two button controller, very simple for Sega, and you're collecting. And here's the thing: the object of this game is you collect floppy disks.
Well, I think
Do you know what a floppy disk is?
I remember you playing like a version of this game recently.
Yes,
so
I have this.
I have a vague memory.
Yeah, I was playing these on all my little handhelds.
Yes, that's.
It's actually up here in my favorites, my work computer, my Zillion. And this was, you just had to get through the entire maze, putting in the codes. That was the piece of paper I had before. You had to input the codes into your Apple computer by loading in the floppy disks. Yep. But here was the thing: there's 1987. There was no save. There was no save feature. So if you were going to beat the game, you had to leave your system on for days. This is one of the games I played with Pop. We would play it upstairs. But yes, awesome. So this is Zillion. This was still one of my favorite games. Okay. I'm assuming you've never heard of it or played it.
Wow. Never heard of it, never played it. And I never owned a Sega Master System. My uncle had one, and that's my memory of playing Sega Master System. All right, so number 7 for me was PlayStation 2, and this was my favorite game on the PlayStation 2 system. It was called Onimusha Warlords. This came out in 2001, and you were the samurai guy, and you traveled throughout, feudal Japan, killing other, samurais and fighting, demons and things like that. And you would collect these orbs that would make you more powerful. It would help you upgrade your sword to a more powerful sword. This also came out with a couple games, and this is a game that I don't understand how they never remade, for PlayStation 5. This was such a good game for the PlayStation 2. My favorite PlayStation 2 game.
This is what, my number 6? No, my number 7.
Number 7.
Punch Out. So this came out, which it's funny. I didn't think this was that early. I didn't think it came out as early as 1987, but I think 1987 was the arcade, which before going to the Game Vault, I guess I never saw the arcade game of Punch Out, and it was 2 screens. Remember in the vault, you have the one screen where you're fighting, and then the screen up top let you know what round and all that you were. But I could say I've never beat this game, never beat it. But you've got the infamous training scene of Carl Winslow, I guess, on the bicycle with the skyline, in the back. You had King Hippo. I mean, these are just classic guys of, growing up. And that, I don't know what year it was, but after, I believe it was when Mike Tyson went to prison, that I know the game went from Mike Tyson's Punch Out to just Punch Out featuring Mr. Dream. And Mike Tyson was not the final boss.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, this is definitely one of those games that it didn't matter if Mike Tyson was in it or not, because I couldn't get to it anyway.
It's funny if you watch videos on this game now, like there's all little like Easter eggs that you wouldn't know. Like in the background, you'll see there's certain times
a flash,
like you'll see a camera flash in the back, and that lets you know when the tiger guy is going to come at you, or
didn't make it much easier.
No, it didn't make it much easier. And to beat, and it was, what was funny, we just watched, I'll have to send it to you. It was a real life video. Someone made their oun video of Little Mac, the story behind Little Mac.
The guy on the left of the big picture of all the characters, Soda Popinski. That's where my game ends with him.
Yeah.
Can't get past him.
And this was a Mario game. One of Mario's first games. He's the
ref.
He's the referee.
It's kind of Mario game.
It's considered when you list Mario games,
Yeah, he's the ref. All right, so number 6, my number 6 is a Nintendo 64 classic, Banjo and Kazooie. Um, Played this game a ton as a kid, absolute ton. Never beat it as a kid, but recently, have the Nintendo Online and downloaded the N64 emulator on it and played Banjo and Kazooie and played it through and finally beat the game. Really simple concept. Banjo is the bear, Kazooie is the bird. Gruntilda the witch kidnapped Banjo's sister, and the whole game you were there trying to rescue Banjo's sister, from Gruntilda. These are my kind of games when you have to go through a world and find a bunch of stuff. So you had to find jigsaw puzzles, you had to find feathers, you had to find Jinjos, who were these like little bird characters, and there were 5 hidden through every world. It was your typical game where it had water levels, it had snow levels, it had, deserts. Just really, really fun game that I played a ton. And I'm going to say this, getting into Nintendo 64, these were my favorite packagings of any video games. I just loved having the big box. These were my favorite.
My least played system. Never had a Nintendo 64 until a couple years ago.
Which I'm incredibly disappointed in because this was my favorite system.
Yeah.
I think of all systems that I've had, this was my favorite.
Yeah.
I still have it. I have it. Well, I don't have it hooked up right now, but I had it hooked up for a long time. This is my favorite system. All right, and your number 6.
Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country. So this was Donkey Kong Country 3. This is one of the games that made it. This, I remember when I took down all my old systems from the attic years ago. This was still sitting in my Super Nintendo, and it was really weird. It was like a real time warp to plug it in, and there was my file from like the last time. It was still there. It was Ed7 was the file. And it's like weird when you think of your childhood. It's like you think back. There was some day that I was sitting in my bedroom, click save on that game, and was never going to load it up until I was 35 years old in my house. Like it's like weird when you think of that. But yeah, all Donkey Kong Country games. So this was 3, but really it's that whole franchise even until now, right?
Mhm.
I mean, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze.
Yeah.
I mean, even what's the newest one?
HD Returns Deluxe. They need a new Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and even the new Donkey Kong now is it's just he's just
Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah, so I feel like Donkey Kong has made
Yeah.
It's just a
Now,
classic.
This is a classic that I never played any of the Donkey Kong games.
When the original Donkey Kong Country came out, that was like the way that the graphics were like. It was like totally different. It was
never had it, never played it. My only exposure to Donkey Kong, almost till this day, I think I bought a remastered version, was Diddy Kong Racing. That was like my first Donkey Kong exposure.
So this I didn't put in because I wasn't really sure. So wait, where do I have it? This is my first. This is a Donkey Kong Game & Watch. This was my first one. And this is real.
Oh, very cool.
Old school. Yeah. This was.
That's awesome.
This there, never could keep a battery cover in the in the 80s. But yeah, the Donkey Kong, the Game & Watch series.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're getting into our top 5 and EV3. You're going to jump in with your 5th.
Finally. So here. It's the same thing with like you with Donkey Kong Country. I really for me, it's just Mario Kart in general because a lot of them are similar. But I just enjoy it because it's a pick up and play game. Like you don't need to like strategize. You just choose your kart, choose your character, and just play. And it's one of the games, just Mario Kart in general. You can play very casual, or if you see people online where you do every single shortcut, it could be it's really rewarding. And even just after school, 5 minutes at home, I just really enjoy playing Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Play with my mom and sister. and just Mario Kart in general.
Who's the best?
It's me.
Oh.
But
Maybe.
I just yeah.
Don't let mom hear that.
Yeah. It's but just every game gets better, so I couldn't really pinpoint one because
Yeah.
But
So I liked Diddy Kong Racing better than Mario Kart. I played Mario Kart. Diddy Kong Racing though, for me, had a story, and that's what I liked about it, is that it had a story to go along with the racing. But Mario Kart's always been a lot of fun. So yeah, great choice. All right, my number 5 is the original Super Mario Brothers game.
great choice.
Love it. Never beat it. I don't think I ever will.
What do you mean you've never beat the original
Yeah.
Mario?
I've never beaten it from
There's
start
30
to finish.
There's 32 levels, and you can beat it by playing 6. There's no way you did not beat this.
Well, I don't feel like that's beating it fairly. If you're going to beat it,
Yeah.
you have to go every level. But never beat it. Never got to the end.
See, now that's a debate right there. I don't know if Damien's still in the chat. I feel like that's something that Damien and I would go back and forth and argue. Like, is that like right there? Is that beating a game? If you use the warp whistle, not the warp whistle, the warp zones, it's part of the game. You would consider that beating the game?
I mean, sure, I will consider it beating it, but it's not
Not
beating
truly.
I'm very surprised you never beat the game.
Yeah, never have. I don't know what it is. Never have. But this was my first ever game. Getting the Nintendo as my first system. Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt were on the same cartridge, and still have it upstairs in the attic. Still have my original gun. You know, and it had to make my list because it's just my first ever game. So love it. All right, Ed, you're number 5. I don't know if this is the right one. I think it is, but this is the One Up arcade. But
I think
this is the One Up arcade.
Is that the one that we?
Yes, it's the one, not the same machine, but yeah, it's Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. But that was what's funny is the Nintendo game was called Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, because the arcade game that we played right there, you could see it right now. That's one of the first levels. You're in the room, it's on fire.
Yeah.
And then the Technodrome comes up.
Yeah, I played
right?
on the Ninja Turtles collection.
This is just the replay game. Like, this is, it was one of the first 4-player arcade games I remember playing in the arcade, except there it wasn't free to play. It was, you were putting
R.J. Dickinson said, never had a gaming stint long enough to finish all the levels. Warp it was if I wanted to hit the end. I mean, I get it. Even with the warps, I still didn't finish it. So I don't know.
And so this game, Mario, this was just not Mario, Ninja Turtles 2. This was just a classic. This was fun, and I do have a sweet pair of shorts.
Yeah.
In honor of this game.
It's actually that same level.
So now my mom is watching, and she asked if this is the one she has. When my mother moved to Florida, she started buying the One-Up arcades, and she has an entire arcade room in her house with this machine, Turtles in Time, Miss Pac-Man, NBA Jam. She has Space Invaders. She has an air hockey table. So she literally created her own little game room. I always joke because she'll go in there and she'll play like Pac. Oh, there's Mortal Kombat. She bought a Mortal Kombat system too. She jokes, she'll go in there and she'll play Pac-Man and Space Invaders and Galaga and stuff like that. And I always joke around with her because she has a air hockey table, and I said it's probably pretty funny to play air hockey by yourself, right? You hit it once, run to the other side, hit it back. But it's really cool, and every time I go down to Florida, I spend a lot of time in that room playing the games. I've beaten both Turtles and Turtles in Time multiple times. The next time I go down to Florida, what I am and want to do is count how many times I died to know how many quarters it would have cost me to play this game. Because
that's actually a good. I like that.
Yeah, because it costs a lot of money. These games are not easy, and it would have cost a ton of money to beat that. So, all right, great choice, awesome game. And now my daughter played Pac-Man. I don't know if she knows what she was doing, but she was sitting on the stool, fully involved, and pretending like she knew what she was doing. So as long as she doesn't break my high score on the machine, I'm okay. All right, EV3, you're number 4.
So this is the most recent Mario game in the mainline franchise. And me personally, you're gonna see a lot of Mario on my list, but I love platformers, like one end of the level to the end. And Mario Wonder took an already great format with the new Super Mario games and just built upon it 10 times, where you have three new power ups where you can turn to an elephant is the main one. Great art style, as you can see, compared to previous games. And the main thing, the Wonder Flower, which will take the normal level and just add a weird effect to it. Like there'll be hippos bouncing around. The whole level will go on a tilt. You start running on walls, and it's just very wacky, and I love it.
Yeah.
And even they're making a DLC, a Nintendo Switch 2 to it. So I didn't let that affect my ranking because I haven't played it, but there's boss rushes, new power-ups, and they just keep building onto this game. And this is one of the few games I have completed.
Nice.
And like twice. And when I'm bored, this is one of the games that I'll sit down and play for like a good amount of time.
I have it, never beat it. Didn't give it enough time yet, but I have to.
He is very unlike me in the sense I pick up a game, play it for a little bit, put it away, play it for a little bit, never like.
I will pick up a game and play it for 3 months straight without touching another one.
He completes games. I'm very envious.
I'm decently like that. All right. My number 4 is the one and only wrestling game that I put on here. It was WCW NWO Revenge, another N64 game. This was like the precursor to WWF No Mercy and WWF WrestleMania 2000, which were definitely better games than this. But this is the one that I had first. WCW, in terms of wrestling, was the more popular one. And I played this game a ton. To the point where I brought it down recently and wanted to like erase everything and start all over with the storyline and everything. So this was always my favorite wrestling game, and I think there's been other wrestling games that have been better, but this was always a top wrestling game for me. And this came out way back in 98, 99, something like that. Yeah, it's a long time ago. 98, so it's decently old.
This, what do we have? This is number 4, Wonder Boy. This came out 1986, so this is 40 years. All right, so 40 years old. This was just a linear game. This was just you were Alex, little kid. You just ran through the stage collecting fruit to keep your energy bar going up. I have never beat this game. It was on the Sega Master System. I still have it. I actually just meant to go on eBay to try to find the box. I just have the loose cartridge. And this game has been remade a couple times recently. That has really excited me in the sense of the franchise has, picked up again a little bit. This was one of the ones on the PlayStation 4, Wonder Boy Returns. But yeah, this just takes me back. I remember my uncle Jamie had a huge Sega Master System collection, which quick fun story. I know not fun story. When I got my Sega Master System, the game that was supposed to be in it was missing. My uncle at the time was he's a huge video game guy, and I just used his collection as my own, renting games. So I really don't have many of my own games. I now rebuy them. But this game, this is Wonder Boy, one of my favorite games that I always go back and say, I'm going to beat it. I have to beat it now. Must have been tough when I was 6.
Right.
But these games are just like, I don't know. They seem so simple on paper, but they're just like impossible.
Right.
Impossible to beat.
All right. So number 3.
So I have the collection here, but I only put Super Mario Galaxy 1 because there's no there's no separate Galaxy 1 game. It's only in collections. But Super Mario Galaxy 1 is, again, one of the few games that I have, not few, but one of the games I've completed recently, actually, in honor of the Galaxy movie. And this is my favorite Mario game, like, or at least my favorite 3D Mario game. And there's really nothing bad about it, in my opinion, aside from camera and controls. But it's a game for the Wii, so it's hard on Switch. But you have 6 different worlds or domes on the Comet Observatory, and you just travel to galaxies with 5 main stars, 1 or 2 comets, and a hidden star. And it is just really fun to play through. There's a total of 120 stars, and it's hard enough to be enjoyable, not hard enough to put it away and never play it again. Me personally, you have one of the comets is like there's 4 different types of comets, I believe, that adds a wacky effect to a level. And the ones I hate, there's a purple comet where there's 100 purple coins scattered throughout one level, and it's either it all in one path in some way, or they're just clustered throughout. And I spent like 20 minutes trying to get one, but overall, it's very, very rewarding, and it took a nice chunk of my time. And yeah, I'll pick it up now every once in a
I've
while.
actually beat both of these, so I agree on these games. These games were fun.
Yeah.
My number 3 is any of the shows, really. I mean, any baseball video game. I did not buy this year's. I won't buy this year's because when I buy these, I get really into it and play 162 games of the season. I'm not super happy with the Mets, so I'm not going to play with them. So I'm not buying this game this year.
How far did you get last year?
I won the whole thing.
Nice.
I won the whole 162 games, every pitch, every inning, and then the playoffs. So this is definitely a time-consuming game. So I'm not buying it this year. I know, Ed, you've played this game, except you do the road to the show, which is a lot of fun.
I do the road to the show.
Yeah, but I play the full season, and it wouldn't be my top list if baseball game wasn't on it.
Yeah.
So. All right.
Yep.
My number 3, Super Mario World, 1990. This was very hard to narrow it down to which Mario was my favorite. It was really back and forth between 3 or this. I don't know. Something about Super Mario World for Super Nintendo. Once that game loaded up, you could hear the music right now in your head. Being able to jump on Yoshi's back, eat the fruit off the trees. This was just did beat this game. I think even into the Star World. I don't know if I've completed Star World. I tried again recently.
I just remember you going back and trying to get each key. And I remember you were having trouble.
I was having a lot of trouble. There's a lot of those secret colored panels that never even thought of as a kid. But
the world map was very interesting. It was like you had to go through like one level to unlock a separate path,
which was new for games at that point. Yeah.
Maria said no one likes Crash Bandicoot. I definitely did. I have them all. I beat them all. I'm not going to say I forgot about them because at least one Crash Bandicoot could have made it to my list. And we have Damien's list in here. So awesome. We'll check that out in a bit. All right. Going into number 2.
So this is I know I'm like one of the 5 people that play this game, but basically it's like an RPG in some way, but you take on Nintendo Switch and the Wii recent systems, you can have Mii's where you just sort of play around and make a character that looks like yourself or just random people. And you take these characters and you can give them their own roles in a journey. And you could choose their job, which affects how they act in battle. Like if you have a chef, they can use a skill that flames the pan and deals extra damage to enemies. Or you can heal yourself and allies. And it's always fun. I love playing it. I'll start new files and make my whole team just specialize on one franchise. Like I'll make a whole team of Mario characters, random people. and it's easy to. I'll go in phases where I play the whole game again because there's no set path to go in. You can, depending on what job and personality you give your teammates, there'll be different outcomes. And this is, I haven't completed this game because there's like 300 medals, so I'm not gonna try. But
He's a busy guy.
yeah, but this will forever be the top of my list. Not first,
All
but
right, very cool. All right, my number 2 is Uncharted.
Mm.
Uncharted 1 was a PlayStation 3 game, I believe. Yeah, the PlayStation 3. I think the first 3 came out for PlayStation 3 and then Thief's End came out for PlayStation 4. Um, I'm going to Did you ever play these, Ed?
Yes, I played Uncharted 2, I believe.
So
Yeah.
I am fully confident in saying I think this is the greatest video game series of all time, in my opinion. Just that the story kind of went along with each other. This is definitely my favorite video game series of all time. Damien earlier in the chat mentioned Tomb Raider. I mean, this was like a modern Tomb Raider game. And this was these were my favorite, and I could pick these up and play them through again. So my number 2, I couldn't pick one. I'm going to say all 4 of these games plus the 5th one. That was a different story, but Uncharted, awesome video game series. All right, and Ed, you're number 2.
Altered Beast. This is 1988. I also have a sweet pair of shorts honoring this game that I wear bowling. This was another very simple game, which I just well, I shouldn't say simple game. It was only 4 levels, but was impossible to beat as a kid. Finally beat it on the Nintendo Wii years and years later. So yeah, I mean the main line here was just you ever play this game or no? Rise from your grave? No.
No.
So I was a guy, you collected orbs, you got stronger and stronger. You fought the main boss. Literally, the level was probably I would say it was a tiny level. These games, the memory had literally no space on them, which now when you look back, you realize why these games had to be so hard because they couldn't fit anything on them. So otherwise you'd beat the game and that'd be it. But yeah, so Altered Beast, never they remade this game once years later. It was horrible. And I'm waiting for the day when this series gets brought back. Rises from its grave. So that's
Okay.
Gotta check it out. Sega.
And then we have Anthony Romanello giving his top 5 in there. Okay, so Pitfall, Gran Turismo, Excite Bike, Dark Castle, Panzer General. Never heard of Panzer General, but I've heard of everything else. Awesome choices there, Ant. All right, so now let's go through our honorable mentions pretty quickly. It is getting late and it's bedtime.
Yeah.
So honorable mentions. These were 2 of yours.
So
Ed,
Super Mario Odyssey again. Odyssey and Galaxy are definitely the 2 best 3D Marios. For me, Galaxy's better, but Odyssey is you go through like I want to say like 12 different kingdoms.
You're looking at someone I believe that has all 999 moons.
Impressive.
Am I correct?
Every single one.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Which I also think was a bit excessive and unnecessary. But
just you go through 12 kingdoms. Main thing, you could throw your hat and capture enemies' mechanics. You could go into a Goomba, stack each other, go into a Lakitu, fly around. And there was just so many moons in each kingdom. You found yourself finding moons that you didn't even know existed.
And Mario Maker 2, I felt like you played for probably about 3 years straight.
Yeah.
As a little kid, right?
It felt Mario Maker 2. Again, this came out in 2019. So once COVID hit, I think that's also when I started playing this a lot. It's exactly what it sounds like. You make your own Mario levels between 5 different game styles, and they made their last DLC for it like 2 months after the release. But there was just so much content where Nintendo went through a drought of 2D Mario, and this was, in my eyes, sort of like a placeholder for them to work on their next game, and it's just revolutionary.
Very cool. Very cool. Never played it. My is Rare Games, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption 1 or 2. I could play either one of those. Love those games. And Grand Theft Autos, everyone from Grand Theft Auto 3, on Vice City, San Andreas, and all those. I'm all in on those. I can't wait for Grand Theft Auto 6 to eventually come out. Who knows when it'll be out, but it's apparently coming out. So this is one of my honorable mentions.
Street Fighter 2. There you go. This was one of my honorable mentions. This I just remember being as a kid, being over my friend Leo's house. Me, my friend Leo, my friend Mike. We would just take turns. Whoever would win would sit in his chair. The other one would have to sit on the floor. I was a Dalzim guy. Always picked Dalzim. Yoga Flame, Yoga Fire. It was just a classic game. The movies were okay. Yeah, they were movies. They were. They were.
The new one coming out should be pretty good.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah. So Street Fighter 2, that's just a classic arcade game at the bowling alley.
Sweet. Yeah, for sure.
2. Yep.
Minecraft.
That was another honorable mention. It just felt wrong to put it on there. It's self-explanatory. I go through cycles where I'll play this for like a month, not play for a month, and then over and over. But again, another, in my eyes, I call it an after-school game.
Okay. Yeah. For me, never
Never
understand what it is.
Yeah.
Never played it. Zero interest, in fairness. Wave Race 64 was the second game I ever got for the Nintendo 64 system, and it was a jet ski racing game, and it was so much fun. I played with the third guy. So the one in the middle of the three guys up at the top, that was my character that I played with all the time. You would go through the 3 different difficulty levels, and then once you beat those, then you had to do the courses in reverse, which basically made this game impossible to beat that kind of circuit. But the graphics on this game were unbelievable. And I will say this, for a Nintendo 64, these graphics hold up today. So if you were to play this game now, these graphics 1,000% hold up. And this is on the that Nintendo 64 Online.
Yes, it is. I'm gonna try it tonight. SimCity, this game is unmatched. This was just, you built your own city. You're just your railroad, your power plant, your water pipes. It was just, I felt like, I specifically with SimCity 2000 on the PC. I remember playing it, and to this day, I'm trying to find a simulator game that I'll enjoy as much as SimCity 2000. I'll try everything, and nothing matches the original.
Damien liked it.
And for Damien to agree with me on something, that does not happen.
Maria X, what about Dead by Daylight? This game, Maria loves this game. She plays it all the time. I think it's kind of goofy. I've played it. It's interesting. You ever play it?
Dead by Daylight, yes, I have.
It's an interesting game,
but it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into our number ones.
So my number one is Cuphead. It is a very difficult indie game, which...
Wait, I'm not going to say it's not. Have you ever played Cuphead?
I have.
I was going to say this is one of the most difficult games I've ever come across.
I was going to say, it's up there. And
I just remember this, and again, I play this still all the time. I really haven't gone through a phase where I'm not playing it. It's you go through, you play a total of I want to say 30 bosses. There's no levels. You're just playing with bosses, 5 in a world.
Hard bosses.
Very hard. And you have, excluding DLC, you have 6 main weapons, all doing different mechanics, and EX shots, which are just their supers. And there's 3 phases to each boss, and it's really very time consuming, but
what percent of the game have you beat?
Let's see. Main game 200%.
200%.
And the DLC 100%.
It's insane. And he was doing this at
7
8 years old, and I was just this is just
this game is like an original Nintendo impossible game.
So I've book completed it, everything that you can do in the game. I haven't, which I never realized, I haven't S ranked each boss. So if I truly want to say,
well, that's just showing off.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
showing off, but it's just honestly the hardest game I've come across, and just for a while, nothing's gonna beat this for me.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. All right, my number one
Good call.
is, I'm going to say this, the greatest Mario game of all time.
Respect.
Um, I've beaten this game 25, 30 times, collected all 120 stars. This is my game where I'm just looking to waste some time. I'll put on the Switch and play it on that online system.
Yeah.
I think this game revolutionized video games.
It did.
The way
It did.
the way 3D video games were. This core memories of going to Blockbuster to rent a movie, and it was always on, and you could always jump in and play it. Hands down, to me, greatest Mario game of all time, most playability, just phenomenal Mario game, and my favorite video game of all time. So
Also a great first. It was like one of the first 3D games, at least.
yeah,
the
I
first
believe it was
Mario
like the first of its kind. Right.
Yeah.
So
in general.
all right, and Ed.
Call of Duty 4. This it pretty much is exactly what you said going back about Call of Duty. This game, more than just the game.
No love for Tetris.
That's-
Sorry.
This game, more than just the game, this was my Xbox 360 days of just hanging out with the guys. This came out in 2007, so I wasn't even dating. Danielle was at home. You'd put the headset on after work, and when I tell you the amount of hours playing this game, but not only playing it, was just talking, was just hanging out with your buddies just for hours playing this game. And that's when this came up. Yep.
Oh.
That was my there were 10 prestiges. So this was me, my friend Leo, my friend Eric, and me. Level 10 prestige. I put in, I don't even know how many days, how many hours. I mean, I think I do, but I won't, for anyone that's actually watching.
I love that you have that like printed in a frame.
This, this, and I should have sent the picture. This made it to my wedding montage because we
Wow.
were all my groomsmen and we had this. This was just a great, this was just so much fun.
Oh, so
And then-
didn't you purchase it like the day before your wedding?
Yeah, no, I was playing this the morning of my wedding. Mommy's probably not that proud. And then the last thing is during COVID. During COVID, we rebought, we bought whatever the newest one was and started playing it, for hours again. It was just so much fun. So that had to be my number one,
Yeah.
There you go.
And just wrapping up the chat before we wrap, Magic Ant is one of the guys that I know for 30 years, and every now and then I usually get the Call of Duty game and jump on and play. I've known him for 30 years. And there's been times where it's come out on a Friday. I bought it and got it on Monday, and he's already prestiged like 3 or 4 times, putting me at a complete disadvantage. I still stink at the games, but it's always a lot of fun. And he's one of the guys that we would play, I would play with, religiously. And then Damien said no love for Zelda. And then Anthony enjoys Zelda. I want to like Zelda more than I do. I just find it hard to get into.
I could never get into Zelda.
I try. So, but all right. So that's our list. We went a little over time, but that's okay. So thank you all for hanging in there and watching our show. I hope that you enjoyed our list. I hope you enjoyed talking about your games in the chat. Now next week we're not sure what we're going to do yet, but we'll figure that out as soon as we can. EV3, you had fun. I hope you enjoyed yourself. We got you in there. All right, nice debut, nice episode. And with that, if you are still hanging out in the chat, if you haven't liked, subscribe, please do that, and definitely do me a favor and hit that bell so you get subscribed, so you get notified of our next show, which will be next Monday at 8 o'clock. Thomas enjoyed it. No mention of Mona. There was a few mentions of Mona, but Mike Ferrara hasn't been in the chat today. So that's usually our Mona guy. But for all of you, thank you. We're out of here for tonight, and that's a wrap. We'll see you next week at 8 o'clock.
Thank you.